Let's move on now to the Tennessee Titans 2023 season prediction, where Ryan and I break down every single game from the Titans 2023 schedule and go over their floor and ceilings and kind of what their playoff probabilities are. But before we do that, if you have not already, hit the subscribe button and also ring the bell to get notified whenever we create new content. Ryan and I, we have a goal of getting to 2,000 subscribers by the start of the season, which is just a couple weeks away, which means a bunch more content will be coming out between now and September 7th. We will be doing a season prediction series for every single team in the NFL. Also, too, once when the season starts, we will be doing a prediction video for every single NFL game. So if you want to see that content and see all the Titans prediction videos, be sure to subscribe to the channel and ring the bell to get notified. And Ryan, let's get into it here. As I mentioned, we predicted a winner or a tie, and I'll explain that in a second, for every single game in the NFL. And so we will pull up the Titans schedule here. And if you see a tie, this is where we kind of talk about the floor and ceiling, and Ryan and I will go into where we think the Titans will fall in the 2023 season. And that just that could be the swing schedule here, like where we have them now being actually completely 500, 7-7-3. So we can really see them falling in that 7-10, 10-7 type range, which is a fringe playoff team. And that's where I really feel like they are. I think the record that can kind of show that right there is between like the versus winning teams versus losing teams, 1-7 versus winning teams, and then 6-3 versus losing teams. That was kind of their bugaboo last year, was any team that made the playoffs, they just couldn't really find a way to win. Yeah, and it really struggled overall. But on the flip side, games like those against the Saints or even a couple of ones against the Colts and some division rivals, their defense is so good. Mike Vrabel is such a good head coach. He's able to come up with a game plan that really stymies the other team. So that is where the Titans are going to fall. And with the addition of DeAndre Hopkins, to me, even bump them up a game or two as well, which helps them get into like the playoff hunt.
No, yeah. So like without DeAndre Hopkins, it'd be Treylon Burks and
that'd be it.
Yeah.
Who does have now? He sprained his knee, so he should be ready by week 1.
Yeah.
But sprained knees, that's not really honestly something that you want to play with.
Yeah, and then this offensive line should be better as well. So hopefully that helps improve the running game, because as we saw last year, Derrick Henry really struggled later in the season to be what he was, just because he was getting hit so early on every single play. So I do think they're kind of in that limbo that like 90% of the AFC is in, where it's like these teams are good and they have good players, but they don't have elite quarterbacks, but they're too good to be picking in the top 10, really. And so like I have New England in that category. I think Buffalo is actually in that category now. The Raiders, Chargers have been there for a little while. Yeah. They're just in that category of these
Ravens, Steelers, Browns. Know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So get into their schedule. Like they start out, I like their ability against the Saints to come in and control that game. The weakness on the Chargers has been their run defense. So I think they start out well, but then there's just a bunch of coin flip games, right? Browns, they'll lose to the Bengals. The Bengals, I think, are too good. The Colts, who I think are going to be one of the better rushing teams in the NFL, especially with Shane Steichen leading the way. And then games overseas are always coin flips, and you have to kind of go with what you have on paper for those. And I think it's just going to be interesting to see if Tennessee can come in and control that game.
Also, too, those teams, just from recent history, those two teams don't like each other.
And they go at it.
Yeah, they don't like each other. So that'll be fun. But the Titans are just going to be so tough, because even then, like, I forgot I was watching that quarterback series, and I forgot the Titans started out 5-2 last year.
Yeah.
But they did have a fairly easy schedule. But then they suffered from a bunch of injuries, and then Malik Willis couldn't come in and be the quarterback that they hoped that he could do and run the offense. Then everybody else was getting injured. You mentioned the offensive lines were having a lot of injuries. So that's going to be hugely dependent on them. You're right, getting Peter Skoronski now moving in at left guard. Also have Andre Dillard now to take over that left tackle position. Hopefully that helps out a bunch in the running game, because that is where this offense shines, is if they can run through Derrick Henry, then that opens up the play action for Treylon Burks and then now DeAndre Hopkins. And that's where I think and that's where it's tough to really switch some of these games right now, especially the ones like the games against Jacksonville, just because Jacksonville, I think, just matches up well against them. So in that Week 11 game at Jacksonville, I just think that Jacksonville now just has too much talent. I think that they've surpassed them. They have that momentum now. But we'll have to see, though. Obviously, the season hasn't started yet. And we'll have to see how the Titans offense kind of adjusts to some of the new personnel that's on the team.
Yeah, and one thing, too, that I want to add kind of before we wrap this up, Mike Vrabel always seems to have this team just ready to play. Like, they always they're ready to hit people every single Sunday. Like, and I think that's one thing that they do take advantage of teams, especially like the middle of the season, kind of when injury bugs really start to hit teams bad. They do always seem to like just reel off a 3-4 game win streak. And last year I think was a little bit different because they got the injury bug really bad, but they have that ability to just go and win 3 or 4 games that they probably shouldn't. So
yeah. Now they're a fringe playoff team. I think if you scroll out a little bit with all the games that we had, I think that we had them at 8th in the AFC, like just missing the playoff spot, and that's where like those crucial games that we have like that are ties right here can be a big difference maker.
Yeah, exactly. But let's go ahead and wrap up this video here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on what you think the Tennessee Titans record is going to be in 2023. And other than that, we will see you guys next time.